Why is she always parading a new man around when she can barely make time for her own child? That was the exact jab Blueface's own mother allegedly fired in her viral Instagram story, and she did not stop there. While Chrisean was seen getting cozy with an unidentified man at a private rooftop lounge in Los Angeles, Jaidyn Alexis was across town hosting a jaw-dropping pink-themed birthday celebration for little Journey. The contrast was impossible to ignore, and fans quickly drew comparisons. Too many, it felt like a split-screen moment. One side showing a grounded, responsible mother, the other radiating pure, reckless energy. Twitter didn't just catch this story, it detonated it. What started as a little shade from mother, Karlissa Saffold, quickly turned into a social media wildfire. Some claimed her words weren't only aimed at Chrisean, but also at her own son, making it a double hit of family drama. Chrisean fired back without hesitation, but that only raised more questions. Who exactly was this mystery man she'd been spotted with? Was Karlissa overstepping again? And how did a Barbie-themed birthday party become the epicenter of a full-blown family feud? This wasn't petty internet squabbling, it was a war over image, legacy, and motherhood, with one man stuck squarely in the middle. Ever since Chrisean crashed into Blueface's orbit, chaos had been the norm. Their fiery romance morphed into a public circus of arrests, pregnancy reveals, livestream brawls, and betrayals. But the most unpredictable part of the saga wasn't the couple, it was the people around them, especially Karlissa. From day one, she made her dislike for Chrisean known, calling her untrustworthy and unprepared for motherhood. When Chrisean gave birth to their son, Christian Jr., the tension didn't ease, it deepened. Jaidyn Alexis, the longtime ex of rapper Blueface and the mother of his first two children, had built a life that was the polar opposite of the chaos, constantly swirling around his current partner, Chrisean. While Chrisean's name dominated headlines almost weekly, often tied to explosive fights, emotional outbursts, and mysterious disappearances, Jaidyn stayed out of the tabloid circus. She presented an entirely different picture to the public, calm, grounded, and deeply focused on her role as a mother. Her social media was a highlight reel of wholesome family moments, birthday parties that looked like they belonged on Pinterest boards, cozy afternoons spent with her children, and snapshots of a stable home life that seemed worlds away from the drama Blueface's current relationship stirred. This quiet consistency did not go unnoticed. Many people began pointing out the stark contrast between Jaidyn's reserved presence and Chrisean's headline-grabbing lifestyle. Then came a twist no one saw coming, a shift that would send social media into a frenzy. Karlissa, who had once been one of Chrisean's loudest supporters and fiercest allies, suddenly switched sides. This was not just a casual change of opinion. It was a public, deliberate pivot. The same woman who had openly feuded with Jaidyn in the past was now praising her, referring to her as the blueprint for what real motherhood should look like. This public endorsement carried weight because Karlissa had been part of the inner circle, privy to behind-the-scenes details most fans never saw. For her to make such a statement suggested that something significant had shifted in her perception or in the dynamics between the women. Social media lit up with speculation. Some believed Karlissa had simply grown tired of defending unpredictable behavior and was now aligning herself with the more stable, respectable image Jaidyn represented. Others suspected deeper personal drama between Karlissa and Chrisean that had pushed her to this sudden about-face. The praise for Jaidyn also sparked conversations about how public figures, especially mothers, are judged by the images they share online. Was Jaidyn truly the blueprint because she embodied genuine, day-to-day stability? Or was it simply that she was better at curating a picture-perfect image? Regardless of the reason, Karlissa's praise brought Jaidyn into the spotlight in a way she had not been in years. She became a symbol of quiet strength and maternal dedication, qualities that stood in stark contrast to the chaos many associated with Blueface's current life. The shift also highlighted an unspoken truth about the culture of public relationships. Allies can become critics overnight, and loyalty can change sides without warning. In the court of public opinion, where perception often matters more than reality, Karlissa's words were more than just a compliment, they were a statement. And in the volatile, ever-shifting narrative surrounding Blueface, Chrisean, and the people orbiting them, this statement had the power to reshape alliances and redefine who the audience saw as the true example of strength and motherhood. Things reached boiling point when Chrisean was seen leaving a private lounge with an unidentified man. Before the internet could figure out who he was, Karlissa dropped a barbed IG post. Imagine shopping for new men when you still haven't shopped for your baby's meds. Chrisean clapped back, but Jaidyn stole the spotlight with a lavish, Barbie-themed birthday for her daughter, complete with pink balloon walls, matching outfits, and a luxury cake spread. Even Blueface showed up, calling his daughter my twin in an IG story that racked up millions of views. The optics weren't on Chrisean's side, especially when side-by-side comparisons flooded social media of Jaidyn's wholesome party and Chrisean's night out clubbing with the mystery man. Karlissa doubled down in a livestream. A real mama doesn't leave her baby to play wifey to a new man. I said what I said. God's gonna reveal it all. That line sent the internet into detective mode, digging through screenshots, alleged FaceTime calls, and leaked DMIs. Then came the bombshell shade room. Teens posted a grainy paparazzi shot identifying the mystery man as Deshaun Willis, a music engineer who'd once worked closely with Blueface and been welcomed into his home studio. Suddenly, this wasn't just about bad optics, it was about loyalty, betrayal, and a possible love triangle within Blueface's own circle. Karlissa didn't mince words, posting cryptically, "Don't bring snakes around your baby. Satan, don't babysit," making it clear, this was war. If you want, I can now rewrite the next portion of this saga when the alleged voice note from Karlissa leaks. So the tension keeps escalating. Blueface's mother reportedly ignited a fresh storm on social media when she shared a cryptic yet cutting statement through her viral Instagram story, taking aim at Chrisean Rock's personal choices. Without mentioning her name directly, she posed a question that struck a nerve with many. Why is Chrisean so eager to showcase a new romantic interest while appearing, in her view, to neglect the deeper responsibility of being fully present for her child? The post spread quickly, sparking heated discussions across multiple platforms, with some siding with her blunt observation and others accusing her of stirring unnecessary drama. The controversy was only magnified by its timing. That very evening, Chrisean was seen in the company of an unidentified man, sharing what looked like an intimate moment at a high-end rooftop lounge in downtown Los Angeles. The exclusive setting, dim lighting, and relaxed body language painted a picture of carefree enjoyment, one that critics claimed clashed sharply with her image as a new mother. Meanwhile, in a completely different part of the city, Jaidyn Alexis was making headlines of her own but for an entirely different reason. She was hosting an extravagant, pink-themed birthday celebration for little Journey, complete with custom decorations, coordinated outfits, elaborate desserts, and a guest list filled with friends and family. Videos from the event flooded Instagram and TikTok, showcasing a warm, family-centered atmosphere brimming with joy and attention to detail. The visual contrast between the two women's evenings could not have been more striking. On one side, there was Jaidyn embodying a hands-on celebratory approach to motherhood. On the other, Chrisean's night out was interpreted by some as prioritizing personal pleasure over parental duties. This split-screen narrative fueled online debates about what it truly means to be a responsible parent in the public eye. Supporters of Jaidyn applauded her dedication and the effort she put into creating cherished memories for her child, framing her actions as the gold standard for modern motherhood. In contrast, detractors of Chrisean labeled her choices as impulsive and self-centered, while her defenders pushed back, arguing that mothers deserve personal time and that a single public outing does not define one's parenting. The entire incident quickly evolved from a family matter into a cultural conversation, touching on broader themes such as the scrutiny women, especially mothers, face in balancing personal lives with public expectations. Social media amplified every angle, turning a single Instagram story into a trending topic that blended celebrity gossip with societal judgment. Whether Blueface's mother intended to spark such a firestorm or simply voiced an opinion in passing, her comment became the match that lit a week's worth of headlines, proving once again how one post can set the internet ablaze when fame, family, and controversy collide. Karlissa lit the match again, posting a quote card reading, "Blood don't make you family. Loyalty do." Minutes later, a blogger named West Coast Mouthpiece dropped an alleged voice note from Jaidyn's cousin claiming Chrisean had shown up uninvited to Journey's Barbie-themed birthday party. According to the recording, she wasn't there to fight, just standing at the gate with her baby, visibly emotional, watching the celebration before quietly leaving. That detail shifted the conversation. Was this about jealousy, regret, or realization of what her own child wasn't experiencing? Jaidyn didn't address it directly, but the next day posted a photo holding Journey's hand, captioned, "She'll never have to wonder if she's loved." Social media erupted, questioning Chrisean's priorities while side-eyeing her new man Deshaun, especially after a leaked group chat surfaced. allegedly from Chrisean's own team, warning he had open warrants in Nevada and a past domestic dispute. Panic spread fast, with fans calling for Blueface or even CPS to intervene. Karlissa then went live in tears, declaring she wouldn't watch her grandson grow up in chaos, no matter how much criticism she took. Her emotional plea went viral, with some praising her as protective and others calling her messy. The fandom split into camps: Team Karlissa for her warnings, Team Chrisean for her let me live approach, and Team Jaidyn for her quiet consistency. Dr. Umar Johnson entered the conversation with his signature candor, framing the unfolding drama not as mere celebrity gossip but as a raw display of generational trauma unraveling in real time. He argued that the true victim was not Chrisean Rock, Blueface or their respective partners but their young son, who, in his words, desperately needed structure and stability instead of being caught in an endless cycle of spectacle. His remarks added a layer of seriousness to what many had been treating as entertainment, shifting some viewers' perspectives toward the welfare of the child. Not long after, Blueface's other baby mama, Scarlett, could not resist taking a jab at Chrisean, dismissing her new romance as nothing more than recycled energy, implying that Chrisean's choices were part of a repeated and unproductive pattern. Meanwhile, YouTubers and online commentators escalated the drama by unearthing alleged court records and old receipts, suggesting that Jonathin, the man spotted with Chrisean, had a history steeped in clout-chasing behavior, further fueling public doubt about his intentions. The digital noise only grew louder when the hashtag #ProtectChris, EANJR, began trending, signaling a shift from playful gossip to genuine concern about the toddler's well-being. Through all this, Chrisean chose to remain mostly silent, breaking her quiet only to repost a Bible verse about protecting her peace, a move some interpreted as spiritual grounding, while others saw it as deflection from the real issues at hand. Skeptics were not swayed. Whispers from producers close to Blueface suggested the chaos was not something happening to Chrisean, but something she was actively creating. To make matters even more pointed, Chrisean's own hairstylist joined the conversation by sharing a photo of Junior with the caption, "He's the only innocent one in all this mess." A clear statement that subtly placed blame on all the adults involved. The cumulative effect of these voices, Dr. Umar's psychological analysis, Scarlett's biting shade, the investigative efforts of internet sleuths, the trending social media campaigns, and the subtle digs from those within Chrisean's personal circle painted a sobering picture. The narrative had shifted. This was no longer just a debate about whether Chrisean should or should not move on romantically. It had evolved into a full-blown public inquiry into her parenting, her decision-making, and her ability to provide a safe and stable environment for her son. While some defended her right to live her life and find happiness, the overwhelming tone of the conversation suggested that many believed Junior's safety and emotional health were hanging in the balance. What began as a flashy headline about a rooftop rendezvous had spiraled into a larger, more uncomfortable conversation, one that questioned not just the relationships in Chrisean's orbit, but the very foundation of her role as a mother in the harsh glare of public scrutiny. The warning had been repeated so often it started to sound like prophecy. That little boy could weather the chaos around him. He might emerge stronger than anyone expected. But until then, the shadow of uncertainty hung heavy. Social media had become a constant storm, with every tweet, post, and livestream adding to the noise. Yet one person remained notably silent through it all. Jonathin. His absence had only fueled speculation. Some assumed he was avoiding the firestorm to protect himself. Others believed he had no defense worth offering. That all changed in a single afternoon. When Jonathin finally decided to speak, he did not choose a press interview or a carefully staged podcast appearance. Instead, he turned to his own Instagram account, letting his followers witness a raw, unfiltered sequence of posts. His statement came in 3 slides, each one building on the last like chapters in a short, volatile story. The first slide was a simple selfie, no smile, no flashy background, just his face lit by muted daylight. The caption read, "I know who I am." It was short but carried a defiant tone, as if meant to reject every rumor and accusation that had swirled over the past weeks. People immediately began dissecting, it was this confidence or denial. The second slide hit harder. It was a blurry, almost vintage-looking photo of him holding a small child, believed to be Junior. His arms wrapped protectively around the boy, the image suggesting closeness and familiarity. For some, it was the proof they wanted that his connection to the child was real, not fabricated for cameras or likes. For others, it was manipulative, a calculated attempt to tug at heartstrings and sway public opinion in his favor. The third and final slide was the most direct. A pitch-black background with stark white text that read, "You will not bully me into silence. You have no idea what that boy needed until you saw how he smiled at me." This one ignited the most conversation. To supporters, it was a heartfelt defense, proof of his genuine care. To critics, it was an unsettling statement, almost a challenge to anyone questioning his role. Some even accused him of turning the child into a shield against criticism. The reaction was immediate and polarizing. Comment sections became battlefields, with people fiercely defending him on one side and accusing him of emotional manipulation. On the other, hashtags popped up, debates raged on YouTube panels, and think pieces began circulating about the dangers of public parenting wars. But just as the online discourse reached its loudest point, the ground beneath the story shifted. A new voice was about to join the conversation, one that carried weight, credibility, and a version of events that could either shatter or salvage reputations. And when that voice spoke, it would not be filtered through a caption or a fleeting story. It would be direct, detailed, and impossible to ignore. The drama reignited with full force when Chrisean Rock's own mother unexpectedly went live, unleashing a torrent of emotion that instantly caught the internet's attention. It was not a carefully staged statement, nor was it wrapped in media polish. This was raw, unfiltered truth spilling out in real time. Her eyes were swollen from tears, her voice shaking as she admitted she had kept quiet for far too long. She explained that her silence was not from ignorance but from a complicated mix of love, fear, and the hope that things might somehow improve without public intervention. Now, she said, the situation had reached a point where she could no longer stand by without speaking out. Her words painted a troubling picture, rooted in both maternal worry and personal insight into her daughter's struggles. She spoke of Chrisean's deep mistrust of people, a scar left by past betrayals that had taught her to keep her guard up. That mistrust, she warned, was being dangerously compromised by the man currently in Chrisean's life, a man she believed was wholly unfit to guide or protect her. The implications were heavy. If Chrisean continued placing her heart in the wrong hands, she risked not only her own well-being but also the stability and safety of her child. Her mother's voice cracked as she described the grandson she adored, expressing fear that his innocence could be lost in the chaos surrounding him. It was a plea as much as it was a warning, a desperate attempt to shake her daughter into seeing what she could not or would not recognize for herself. The live stream spread like wildfire across social media, with clips circulating on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter within minutes. Some viewers saw it as a heartbreaking cry for help, a mother doing whatever she could to protect her family, even if it meant airing private pain in public. Others criticized the move, questioning whether going live would actually help or simply pour more gasoline on an already raging fire. Regardless of opinion, one thing was clear: this was not just gossip fodder anymore. It had evolved into a public family crisis, where trust, loyalty, and motherhood itself were being dissected in front of millions. Fans and critics alike began rehashing old interviews, past altercations, and earlier social media posts, trying to piece together the puzzle of how things had spiraled this far. In the midst of it all, Chrisean remained mostly silent, fueling speculation about whether her mother's words would reach her at all. The situation was no longer just about celebrity drama. It had become a deeply personal, very public reckoning between a mother, her daughter, and the choices that could shape not only their futures, but the life of the child caught in the middle. She did not go into specifics, but her tone carried the weight of something unsaid, the kind of truth that lingers just outside of reach. Leaning closer to the camera, her expression hardened, and she delivered a statement that sent chills through her audience. "If anything happens to that baby, ask who was really around." The words hung heavy in the air, and then, without warning, the livestream cut off. It was abrupt, jarring, leaving thousands frozen in that moment, wondering if they had just witnessed the beginning of something far bigger. Within minutes, the clip began ricocheting across TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, spreading like wildfire. Tens of thousands had already screen-recorded the moment, turning her statement into a viral flashpoint. Headlines began to pop up almost instantly, with captions screaming that she had just publicly exposed Jonathin. People dissected every pause, every facial twitch, trying to read between the lines and uncover what she had really meant. The internet was already running with theories before Jonathin himself caught wind of it. Refusing to let the narrative spiral unchecked, he went live on Instagram, his face tight with irritation. He dismissed her outright, painting her as a woman who barely knew him and was only stirring the pot for attention. "She don't even know me like that," he scoffed, leaning back in his chair as if brushing off her words would erase the heat they had ignited. But in the middle of his dismissal, he stumbled, slipping into an offhand comment that landed like a grenade. With no warning, he muttered that Chrisean had once left her own son in a car. The comment was almost under his breath, but the viewers caught it instantly, their fingers flying across keyboards to clip and share the moment. Within seconds, the live chat exploded with question marks, accusations, and demands for him to explain. His face tensed as he realized his words had already been captured, but the damage was done. Now, instead of just defending himself against her vague but cutting remark, Dizon had opened an entirely new front in the battle, one that threatened to drag Chrisean's parenting into the spotlight in the most brutal way possible. Social media debates erupted overnight. Some accused Dizon of deflecting from the original accusation by weaponizing personal history, while others claimed his statement was a smoking gun about Chrisean's fitness as a mother. The narrative had officially spiraled beyond either of their control. What began as a tense, emotional warning from a mother had morphed into a public trial, where each side was throwing matches into a fire already burning out of control. The internet was not just watching anymore, they were invested, dissecting every detail, waiting for the next livestream, the next post, the next slip of the tongue that would push the story further into chaos. The internet pounced, Karlissa reposted with a pointed "told y'all," and even Jaidyn threw shade online. Then, without a word, Chrisean scrubbed every photo of Dizon from her grid. That same day, a close friend whispered to a gossip blog that she'd found something in his phone worse than another girl, and speculation ran wild. An alleged former Blueface security guard fueled the panic with a tweet hinting at a frightening incident involving the baby's breathing backstage at her last show. Hours later, a blurry Reddit photo surfaced showing Chrisean at a clinic, face covered, visibly shaken, saying, "I just want to know he's okay." The questions multiplied. Is Junior safe? Did her mother's warning ring true? And is Chrisean waking up to the truth? Or is it already too late? This has gone far beyond shade. What's at stake now is a child caught in the crossfire of secrets, loyalty, and survival.